Right folks, welcome back, part 3, yeah I think, of DRZ400SM adventure. So today I'll be doing this 400E tank, so it's a Acerbis, however you pronounce it, tank for a 400E, but I'm finna to an SM, which they are slightly different, so if you want to know how I've done it, keep watching. Right folks, so you're probably wondering why I'm putting a tank that's meant for a DRZ400E onto my SM. Well, the truth of the matter is I messed up. I didn't know. I've only owned SMs. Like I say in one of my other videos, I've owned 3 of these. Well, this has been my 3rd, and they've all been SMs. I didn't know that the E tank was different. So when I bought that one, I can't remember. I bought it about 5 months ago. It's been sitting in the box since. I don't think the seller mentioned it, that it was for an E anyway, and even if he had, I probably would have still bought it because I didn't realise they were different. So when I realised that they were different, what I was going to do was I went back on to the Thailand DRZ Facebook page, where if you want pretty much anything for a DRZ in Thailand, that's where you go. There was no other tanks for sale, so I thought, right, let's see if I can make that one work. And it's not like here, so DRZs were never officially sold in Thailand, so there's no aftermarket really support here for them. I can't just go and buy a brand new tank, you know, they just don't have them. It'd have to be bought overseas, and then shipping and import taxes, all that just makes it not worth it. So most of the DRZs here came in through the back door. They either came in and got in bits and got built up, or got smuggled in through one of the borders, you know, one of the sort of the back jungle borders, and they're not legal bikes, they're not registered here. Now there was a few brought in legally when it was allowed, when you were allowed to bring in older stuff and you know, import older bikes and cars into Thailand. You're not allowed anymore, but when you could, there was some brought in legally, this being one of them. So it's registered, I have all the paperwork, you know, it's legal to drive on the road. So yeah, so because of that, there is no aftermarket support. So let's say I can't just nip out and grab another tank for it, you know, without having to buy it from overseas. So anyway, let's say I looked into it, had a nosy, and I thought it can be done. So I will show you what I've done to make it work. It's not a lot, but I'll show you what I've done. So one of the main differences you'll see is twin petcocks. So it's got 2 petcocks, one at each side, which is handy for getting the fuel. Other than that, it looks pretty much the same, but you'll see, so at the moment I've got this, I've put this again 3D printed. My 3D printers have been working overtime lately. There is meant to be one there as well. If you were to put it on an E model, there would be you'd have one on each side, but I'm not putting it on an E model, so you'll see in a minute. And also this one, again 3D printed, flexible. So again, on the E model, I think it's just like a rubber clip that clips up onto this. But as you'll see, so on the SM model, as anybody's got it, you know, there's a bracket on the tank that goes on here. So the tank comes over, there's a couple of rubbers, the tank bolts down there, and then you've got the rubbers here each side of the tank. Yeah, each side of the tank. So the tank's got like little cups. So the tank just kind of slides on there, sits on this rubber here, and then bolts on here. Now, with the E model, it's a little bit different. The E model doesn't have this. So what the E model's got is the 2 brackets I showed you at the side. So one of them, this has it, which is there, right? So that's where the horn normally is on the SM model. But it's got one at each side, so this doesn't have one at this side. So it's got, so that bracket that I've made will screw into there, which is fine. The tank will sit on there. I've also 3D printed this because on the S model, on the E model, sorry, if you look, there's a rubber like bumper stop, whatever, here as well on the E model. and that's to stop the tank getting pulled directly onto the frame. So I've just printed that, which does the same job. It's just, there's the two holes, so it just sits on there. So it sits in there, slides on, tank sits on there. The main thing you're going to have to do is the fan. So the E model doesn't have a fan, as far as I'm aware. The E model does not have a fan. Now the SM model, the fan, as you know, is down here, so it's 1, 2, 3, so it sits here. Right, so now even taking that off, I'm going to moving it, it's a lot wider than this fan. So, you know, even moving it up there, it was still too big. It still stuck out, you couldn't get the tank on. So what I've done, this is a different fan that I picked up locally on Lazada or Shopee, or one of them, but it's the same. You see them all over eBay, Amazon. In fact, I'm sure it's the same one that Rocky Mountain ATV use for their Tusk fan kit. It looks exactly the same to me. But what I've done, again, 3D printed, so the top fan mount, original fan mount, is that one in there. Right, so what I've done, it was normally flat like that, so I just bent it straight, nice and slowly, nice and easy. And then I 3D printed this, again out of flexible stuff, this bracket here, to fit onto that and onto the fan. And then there's another one, so you're not going to be able to see this one very well because I've got the radiator guard on. So it's another one that I've printed, so it sits in there. You can see it, that's it there. Bolts on, and it runs down there, and then there's a bolt there. So I've used like one of these really thin headed bolts. Yeah, and that is the original hole in the radiator. There was a hole in the radiator there already for like one of these clips, but it doesn't get used on this. So that, you know, it's pretty solid. You know, it's not, that's not going anywhere. It's but as usual, like anything that I've done, any of these brackets that I've made 3D printed, I'll be keeping a close eye on them. So if any of them start to rip, tear, then I can change them out, or because I've designed them myself, I've got the 3D drawings for them, so I can in the STL file, so I could even, if I really wanted to be daft and spend a bit of money, I could even send them to a machine shop and ask how much to get them machined. So the fan is hooked up to the switch and working fine. See, it's hooked up to the bypass, and it'll also work off the thermostat as well. These are again printed, so the original DRZ400SM ones are a little bit bigger to fit the cups, but I've just made smaller ones. All it is just a bit of protection. The tank sits against them, so it's not just sitting on them, rubbing against the metal pins that are there that the normal ones sit on. And that is it. So I'm going to get the tank on, I'll show you. So it's pretty hard to do this one-handed, but so the tank, it goes on. It's let me get it in. There we go, sits on like that. So I've got clearance. The fan, that fan fits in there perfect. Like I say, with the original fan, because the motor of the fan stuck out probably a good another 30, maybe even 40 mil, so there was no way I was getting this tank on without the old fan. I've still got the fan, so if I ever decide to change it back, I can put the fan on because it works. One other little thing I had to do was just here, there where that plug is, and same on the other side there. I just put a little bit of heat to the tank itself. Just used my little heat, there you go, see it there, the soldering workstation thing. Put a bit of heat and then a socket, so it gets hot, socket, and just sort of massage the end just to give it a little bit more clearance on these plugs. Now what this is, so you'll see there, it's hard to see, I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up, but the tank is sitting on that rubber that I've printed, so it's not on the frame. This will use the original mounts and screw in there, and then round here, so that mount I made round there, that goes on, that's on, and that will screw in there to where the horn used to be mounted. So you'll have to move the horn if you're going to do this. Most people probably won't do this because they'll not need to. I'm probably, that's so I've extended the horn wire, that's it there. I'm probably gonna put it here. So yeah, so that should work fine. So I'll get it all mounted up, and then I'll bring these back and I'll show you it's pretty solid once it's all mounted up without even, so yeah, let's say that on the DRZ, on the E model, there'd be another one in there where it mounts. So it mounts there, then it's just got like a rubber strap that clips on over this. But yeah, I can't, even with a fan and everything. I mean, I probably could have made something, but I don't think I need it, to be honest. And I'll show you once it's all mounted together. Just a quick one. So all the bolts I'm using are these sort of shoulder bolts. So you can only tighten them so far. So when you tighten up against the rubber, it'll stop once the shoulder hits the tank, as opposed to just tightening, squashing that too much. Same down in the bracket down there. Right, so that's it, mounted, easy. So you see there, I've used the original rubbers from the tank, from the original tank. So it sits under, then you've got that spacer that sits on. And then the bolt in there that you can just see, that holds that on. And I mean, it's, you know, there is a bit of movement, but there's meant to be a bit of movement. There's always a bit of movement. There's a bit of movement in the original tank. And then once I've got the plastics on, so the plastics go there, and then there on each side, that'll give it just a wee bit more. The seat fits on no problem. I'll just see, so you can see. There you go, it's the seat on. Fits on no bother. Yeah, there you go. I've got the clearance I need. I've got clearance there. Clearance for the fan. Same, got clearance down at that side. Yeah, perfect. I have no worries about that not working. That should work fine. So there you go, that's it. Short and sweet with this one. Like I say, I'm just wanting to get cracking with this now. So stay tuned. Next video will probably be everything else. I'm probably just going to hit everything else. So I'll go through everything I've got to put on it and do, and then I'll just crack on and get it done. So thanks for watching as always, and give us a thumbs up and a sub if you didn't mind. Cheers, see ya. Just a quick one before I go. If anyone is ending up doing this and you're wanting the files, so for the little rubber mounts that I've made for the tank, or likewise if you want any, if you watched the last one when I done the rally, if you want any of the files for the rally tower, if anybody deciding to copy what I'm doing, unlikely, but if you are and you need the files, just shout up. I'll throw them on Thingiverse or something like that, and post links to them if anybody wants them. Alright, cheers, thanks for watching, see ya, bye bye.